Hello, this is Professor Paul Gruhn, and we're continuing on our journey with MySQL, and we're using Larry Ullman's book on MySQL second edition. What I really like about this book is he really walks us through what to do step by step, and he makes it really easy, and it's do this, do this, do this, and so far, everybody in the class seems to have enjoys that approach, and I definitely agree. What you will find, though, in Chapter 5, as we're entering now into Module 4, Chapter 5, it's going to get tough. There's a lot of things that are crammed into this chapter. You're going to learn first, right off the bat, how to insert data into your tables. And what you want to do is you want to insert data into those tables that won't change first. Your category tables, your type tables, and those things that you think about them that maybe on an application that'd be the drop-down list. Maybe you have a gender table where it's male and female. Maybe you have a colors table where it's red, white, green, blue, those types of things. Maybe it's a category like software or hardware or monitors. Maybe you have different types of test or exams, or it's teams where you know what you're going to have a record for the Patriots, you're going to have a record for the Jets, for the Broncos, and you can build that data up first. That would be what I would consider as the core data sets and not the transactional data sets. The transactional data sets are those things like when you create an order, or you create a new ticket, or you create a new sample request, or you create these different events that rely upon that data that's already there. So you'll see that Larry Ullman in his book, he basically has us setting up the categories table first, and then he has us setting up the clients table. From there, then invoices and the invoices table gets created and the expenses table gets created. But when you do those, be really careful that as you replace that, you make sure that the foreign key in those tables is relating to the correct key in the primary key of the tables that you've already set. So for instance, if you have an expense for Mr. Smith and his key is number 7, you might need to make sure the Mr. Smith key is in that expense table. And there's just a lot. It took me 2.5, maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes to create your homework assignment, all 9 pages of it, which probably means you're going to have 9 times 3, you're probably going to have well over 30 screenshots in this whole thing. So take your time. Take your time. Don't think you're going to knock it all out in one sitting. I would plan to first, I'd almost divide it up into 2 sections in his book, and then where you kind of do half of it, and then at the point that you're tired, at the point that you just say, I've had enough, just walk away from it, and then come back later. The next thing is, and just go through each. One of the things I noticed is I had messed up a couple of my column widths in my tables in Chapter 4. So when I went to enter in a client name, and the client name needed 25 characters, that column was supposed to be set to 30 characters. Well, I had actually set it to 3. So I got a failure there. So make sure you use the accounting database, and then you do descriptions, DES describe or DESC, against the table, and make sure they're correct. Before you enter in the data, you might need to drop the table, go back to Chapter 4, and then recreate the table. Now, I've given you something that maybe some of you have already found, and that is Larry Ullman provides for us all of the scripts that he uses in his book. Plus, he provides for us some additional scripts to help pre-populate the data in our table. So what to do is download that. I've provided it for you in the module, and in the assignment itself, I've put in a bunch of the data commands for inserting for like the categories and the clients to make your work a little bit easier. And what's really nice is you can open it up in Notepad, highlight it, Control-C, and then do a Control-V right in the command window. Same with the Mac. And at this point, if some of you are saying, I'm tired of using the command line, I really want to use the GUI that's provided, I'm more than happy to let you use the GUI. So at this point, you can go, and if you go into Start, All Programs, let me scroll down a little bit, MySQL, and you will see MySQL Workbench. And then the MySQL Workbench, I believe that's what you want. Right, MySQL Workbench. If you go into MySQL Workbench, you'll get a GUI UI that would actually allow you to open up databases and start working right from within there. Yeah, because what you do is there's a command that says database, open, connect to the database, and then you can start working from there. Maybe what I'll do over the weekend is I'll do a quick overview of that. And I think this is a good time in the class to go away from the command prompt if you want. If you're getting comfortable with the command prompt and you want to stay strict to the book, you can. But in the real world, we don't use the command prompt hardly at all, unless you're on Unix Geek Juice or something like that. You spend most of your time there. But you'll find that using the MySQL Workbench will make your life easier. So please feel free to do that. So the first part is go through the book, download the SQL statements, look at that. Download the homework assignment. Remember, I've always said, what's the first part of any chapter you want to read? You want to read the questions at the back of the chapter so you know what it is you're looking for. Well, the Word document, all 9 pages of it, has the questions that you'll need to be reviewing and studying for. Then that gives us to the second half of the assignment, which is applying it to your database. So what I've done there is you're pretty much in control of how you want to prove to me and how you want to prove to yourself that you've learned the commands and the issues and topics in the chapter. You will need to insert data into some tables. You'll need to update data, and that's change data. And then you'll need to do some select statements, order by, do where clauses, delete some data. So I've created 6 different areas underneath that final application section of the assignment that basically it's up to you to come up with several iterations of proving that you've done this. Also, all the commands that you issue at the command prompt or in the workbench, save them into this document. Don't just give me the screenshot. You really need at this point to save all your commands either in a text file or actually not only give me the screenshot but also save it as text in the document so you can go back to it, because at the end of this you're going to create, for your final, you're going to create a master script which becomes the ability to pre-populate and build your database. So think about the especially inserting. If you're going to have a lot of customers, a lot of teams, and a lot of things like that, you can start building up in Notepad these statements that you'd want. And if you format them correctly and you build them in Notepad and you say, each one of these, you'll be able to then just cut and paste and put it in. So be looking at this chapter as he goes through the accounting database and be thinking in the back of your mind, how am I going to apply this to certain tables and certain things? Take your time. I'd allow yourself at least probably at least 3 hours, if not closer to 5, 6, or 7 hours to complete this work. And do that over a couple of days. And let's try to get this done by Tuesday, because I think if we can get this done by Tuesday the 18th, and I get Chapter 6 out to you this weekend, we'll actually can get caught up by the end of this week, and I'll feel comfortable that we kind of lost a week, maybe a week and a half along the way. I think we'll get to be comfortable with that. Please send out a bunch of announcements today. Check your grades, see that you haven't missed anything, and if you've had life getting in your way, and it does, guess what? We have a snowstorm. I'm taking advantage of this snowstorm, and I'm getting caught up on work with you. But if life's gotten in the way, and work or home or things have caused you to fall behind a little bit, now's the time. If you don't catch up on your assignments now, you're almost dead, because for getting caught up. You have to get it together right now. So get everything done in Module 4, and then dig into Module 5, or Chapter 4, and then dig into Chapter 5, and you'll be doing good. I'd say most everybody is, but there's a couple of people that you've got to really hunker down and get it done. Hope you're enjoying the class. I'm enjoying putting things together, and somewhere along the line today, I guess I'm going to have to go out and shovel some snow. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.